beginning of tape 14. I'm still in Plovdiv on my third day, second morning. The street I walked up to find the aqueduct, which is beyond the bus station. It illustrates that Plovdiv and many cities throughout the world are somewhat of a facade. Underneath is simply brick, with a few stone carved details that remain as a hint of the beauty of the past. The main train station, it's a nice big station, looks fairly new. The irony, there's a modern train sitting over there dead on its wheels, and I think another one down here same way. Here are a couple more. We sat long enough to get some nice graffiti work on the side. Saw the windshield wipers going in this one, and I can hear it humming inside, so maybe it's going to go somewhere. There's the street that comes underneath the railroad. That's what's going over that pass there, I think. And I'm looking for the aqueduct. It should be over here, not too far from where I'm at, to my left. I'm thinking that this is either part of a Roman wall or part of the aqueduct. Someone here graciously took me from over there to here, and then he showed me that the aqueduct was right there, so now we can go look at it. I walked right by it. We're still looking back, like right over where I was standing a few minutes ago was right over there, and I didn't notice this here because it kind of looks modern. And in fact, that's probably because that's probably a reconstruction. But anyway, that is the aqueduct. So as we get further on, you can see, I'll go down and look at it closely. We can see the original part versus the redone part. But at least it's protected, kinda, on a median in between these freeway roads. So this is the portion of the aqueduct we just looked at. Now I'm going to walk along the portion behind me. And this is the portion behind me that we'll walk along and get video of. Probably what we're looking at here is the innards of the original aqueduct. And by that I mean all of the pretty surface stone has been taken for other buildings, including this paving stone, if you will, for lack of a better term to describe it. Though it's possible that the grade here at the Roman times was up to that paving stone, because that's kind of what we saw in Skopje at that aqueduct, was the paving stone seemed to be the grade, but I don't think so. I think here it's been restored, and it's a good thing they've done this, because at least it gives an idea of what it might have looked like. Here's how it looked probably after it's completely cannibalized. Well, not completely, of course. Now as we come out of the little dip that the off-ramp takes and we get on to regular grade, you can see what I mean about a platform of rock and then the building squares on top of it, but that's not completely accurately stated here, for what, just my best guess. Some of this put together with cement, it may or may not be Roman. I don't know if the Romans had cement. Here where I'm standing, we're probably 3 feet above the grade of those lowest stones that have been excavated down to the building squares. And continuing to look in the same direction, but I'm not going to travel any further. My guess is that either remains of the aqueduct are buried underneath this median, or they've been fully excavated out for any number of reasons. And looking here, we get another clue or bunch of questions with regard to the construction. There where the brick is, obviously, is where the pedestal was for the arch. But then you can see, and it protrudes out this wall to the right, it protrudes out a little bit at the base. But then it indents and protrudes for the next one. And it's filled in to some degree with more rock. Now my guess is, and yet there seem to be platforms here. These platforms may be of modern, when they restored this they may have done that. But my guess is that in any event, these rocks in between the pedestals probably gave a certain amount of stability in the direction in which the water flowed. As we look at this, one thing that adds dimension to my thoughts is that the pedestal was not just the part that protrudes, but if the reconstruction is accurate, it included this area on either side, although it's indented. It still appears that in between it there were either walk-throughs and or stabilizing benches. You have to wonder if these big cement blocks were somehow replicated, replications of actual smooth stones that were in place. I haven't seen that idea. And was this bit of rock design motif original? You would like to think that this reproduction or restoration reflects as much original as possible. We also have to wonder if this end view of the actual water trough is an accurate reproduction. I don't think they had a capstone on it, but I don't think they did. It's possible. The little scrap of pedestal I saw earlier was in fact part of it. It's right behind me now. I think I saw its orientation incorrectly though. This is a pretty arcade that I think runs down the street parallel to the street from the bus station up to the square. I'm on my way back from the aqueduct. I've just entered a park that has a little pretty falls and a pond and a bear. And I'll pan it, and I'm not quite sure what it is. It should be somewhere in the direction of the main street south of the old city. There's a tunnel over there. I think I know where I am. Go on a diagonal this way just to see what I can see on this very rainy Sunday. Love to know what this statue's of. Some story in their history that's probably pretty darn interesting. Almost looks Chinese. And it may be. The man does look Chinese. Well, that's fairly accurate. That looks like Chinese calligraphy, although it could be some other southeastern country. I'm being pulled off my diagonal through the park to go to the extreme right and back a little ways to see the esplanades. The children's area. Well, this is too bad. When it was built, this was all supposed to be a pond. Those restaurants had banked on it. And now it's empty of water. Probably a fantastic fountain feature. Tube. Tries to redeem itself. And on comes the fountain. Here a drinking fountain with 5 pretty little ladies on top and 2 stately trees bracketing. Notice how that limb on the left has such green in its bark that it looks like it's a snake, #1, and different than the rest of the tree, until of course you look up on top and realize they all have that bit of green in them. Very pretty park. Must be absolutely lovely on a lovely day. A curious sculpture. It's not alone nearby. Who'd have thunk I didn't get lost? It came out right where I wanted to be, the main square. Here, one of the many third world unused fountains. And a pretty one, actually.